todos. Desculpa, não falo português. I'm very disappointed I don't speak Portuguese because I would have understood twice as much of Nizal's fantastic presentation a moment ago. It was energizing. It proved to me the power of brilliant ideas, brilliant creativity, and the ability for creative minds to embrace technology through video, through social engagement, and as we'll see, as we've talked about all day, through technology, including mobile technology. So I think I have a presentation. There we go. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we see as an acceleration in this digital revolution. The consumer web is barely 2 decades old, and what you've heard today is really illuminating and terribly exciting. I've been in the media business for about 20 years. I spent a long time at Time Warner, and I have to say, the energy I feel in this room today, and consistently when we meet with marketers and creative agencies, both in the United States and here in Latin America, is that we are on the edge of a digital revolution that is completely turning the tide to consumers and opening up levels of creativity that we haven't seen before. So with that, I'm going to just try to put the digital revolution in a little bit of context. 16 years ago, we had barely 50 million internet users. At the time, Yahoo was pretty much the primary platform for getting information, and this first phase of the web was really about accessing information in a one-way format and reading it. Google came on the scene quite early and was actually powering search for Yahoo until it bought its own search engine. I think the history has proved that Google had a superior technology and pretty much owns the operating system for search on the internet. The next phase of the internet, from about 1998 to 2003, users moved from about 75 million to 500 million in that period, and that was really a period of distribution of information, a little more commerce, and the operating systems that emerged through that period, Amazon.com, eBay, Skype, those really defined that period of distribution and commerce, with Amazon, I'd say, really owning now the operating system for commerce on the web, with many, many other players, both regional players and global players, in the fray as well. We're now in this latter phase of the web, moving from 500 million to close to 2 billion users globally, which means there are really only 1.4-ish billion desktop devices out there. So already 500 million users around the world are accessing the web via a mobile device. In this period, it's been really about communication, about two-way communication, about social communication, and enabling the voice of consumers in ways never thought possible in the era of radio, print, or television advertising. And you can see a proliferation of new players: Skype, Orkut, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of those really social applications. And now the operating system, little Android that you heard about earlier from Kareem, my colleague, today we are activating somewhere north of 350,000 mobile devices per day using Android. So it has really emerged, more so than the Apple operating system, to be really the preeminent operating system in only 3 years. So what does this mean for consumer behavior? It's a radical, radical transformation, what we're seeing. $6 billion worth of goods were transacted via mobile devices on eBay last year. That number will certainly double this year. Farmville, I don't know if anyone here plays Farmville or would admit to it, but it's a silly little game that 30 million people a day play, and about 800,000 tractors are bought on Farmville each day for $3.33. That's $2.7 million of tractors sold on Farmville, no cost of goods associated with it. It's an entirely new media model. It's a game. Amazon, through its Kindle, sells 1.8 digital books for every single physical book it sells, and that number will continue to ramp. Lady Gaga really is a digital phenomenon. She released her first music video on YouTube and has since accrued more than 1.5 billion video views on YouTube alone. The iPhone App Store has seen 10 billion apps downloaded in only 18 months of operation. There are over 400,000 separate apps on the iPhone App Store. That's pretty stunning. And 65,000 new apps just for the iPad alone. And already 1 in 10 videos viewed on YouTube are viewed on mobile devices. So all of this profound consumer transformation has implications for us as marketers. And one of the real drivers of what's changing behaviors is the availability of devices and the adoption rate, which is accelerating. It took more than a year for 1 million iPods to be sold in the launch year, which was 2001. And when you look at that device, it looks absolutely primitive compared to what we have today. It took 74 days to sell 1 million iPhones when it launched 4 years ago in 2007. It took 28 days, 23, 28 days last April to sell 1 million iPads when that was released. It took 3 days to sell 1 million iPhone 2, and it took 1 day, 2 weeks ago, in the United States to sell 1 million devices of the iPad 2 at $599 per device. So what this implies is that behavior has changed, and for us, traditional advertising alone no longer works. We're seeing that effective brand marketing is now about content. And what we just saw from Nizal was an incredible range of brilliant content, advertising as content that is consumable, that entertains, that informs, that inspires. So we see more and more brand marketers either creating content themselves or associating their brands with existing relevant content. So what essentially are we seeing? What do we mean by this? Effectively, brands no longer sell brands. People sell brands. And people sell brands in ways that probably until 3 years ago were not perceived. We're seeing 3 fundamental trends in this advertising 3.0 phase that we're seeing. One is invention, creating new content and advertising mediums out of nothing at all. And for that, I would say just look at the presentation we saw this morning on mobile, and that is an entirely new invention, an entirely new form of advertising. Innovation really comes from creating new content or associating your brand with existing content. And I'm going to show some examples from both the US and here in Brazil, where we've seen best-in-class examples of that. And then last, especially for those of you in the agency business, it's about orchestrating all of this content across multiple platforms, TV, video, social sites, mobile sites, and doing it both globally, locally, and personally to end users. So I'm going to focus a little bit more on innovation, creating content. And it's interesting if you think about what we've done through the millennia as people. Throughout history, we've told stories. And that's what people tend to do, and that's the business most of us in marketing are in. It just so happens that today, we're telling those stories in video. And I would suggest that the digital campfire that we're all sitting around in the world these days happens to be YouTube. YouTube is a phenomenon. This is one of the interesting facts of Google. We actually had something called Google Video. And Google Video was a video search tool. But we saw a rising search term throughout 2006 that was really confounding the product team who had created Google Video. Everyone was searching for this new thing called YouTube. So we went around and realized that it had a better mousetrap. It was a better model than what we had done. We were creating a search engine. YouTube created utility for simply uploading and sharing videos, and thus became the phenomenon it is today. 2.5 billion videos are consumed every day on YouTube. That's an enormous number. It's hard to get your head around it. It's larger than the combined populations of China, the United States, and Latin America. That's a big number. In terms of volume, 35 hours of video are uploaded every minute on YouTube. That's the equivalent of 1,000 movies per hour, feature-length films. So the scale of this is enormous, and as a result, YouTube has become the second largest search engine on the planet behind Google.com. So what we see our job as marketers and partners to marketers and agencies at Google is turning passive video viewers on YouTube into active brand advocates. Now, you in the room know most about your brands. You know the attributes of your brands. You know the target audiences you're seeking. What I hope we've established a bit today is that at Google, we're not alone in this, but we really do understand digital behaviors, and we measure them, and we track them, and we learn from them daily. And it's in that center intersection of these three attributes that when we work carefully with you as partners, we can really figure out a strategy zone to develop incredible, and successful advertising. This was perhaps the most successful ad campaign that ran in the United States last year. It's an ad that I'll play in a moment for Old Spice body wash, a very old-fashioned brand. My grandfather used Old Spice. It had become obsolete, more or less, but it's a Procter & Gamble brand, and they use some brilliant tactics. I'll first entertain you with this video, and then we'll talk through their tactics afterwards.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat with the man your man could smell like. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again. The tickets are now diamond. Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
So that in and of itself is not such a big deal, but it was a clever commercial. It ran 2 weeks after the Super Bowl last year, and it was one in a series of ads that Wieden & Kennedy, the creative agency, had been trialing and trying to just establish a new brand image for this old-fashioned brand. What happened was, after that ran on TV, it ran as a masthead on YouTube, and it was also placed on Facebook. And there was an incredible response from consumers. Tweets, YouTube postings, people reposting videos with their own fantasy of how your man could smell like a man. And all of a sudden, this campaign began to turn into something bigger. The Wieden & Kennedy team understood what they were seeing, and within a few days, they locked this actor, Isaiah Mustafa, in a production facility, and he taped 182 responses to individual tweets and YouTube comments that he had received. 182 different little film vignettes that were posted on the YouTube brand page for Old Spice. Those videos were viewed 151 million times. This was free media. It lived for free on the Old Spice brand channel on YouTube. The metrics were crazy: 13 million channel views, 21 million views of this specific commercial. Most importantly, the brand had been trending to have 11% sales increase until July of last year when this ran. The sales went up 107% in that month alone. So they captured lightning in a bottle. They saw the behavior, the responses of the community on YouTube, on Twitter, etc., and they acted immediately. So we really believe that successful campaigns are not just about selling stuff or creating unwanted noise or intrusive noise. They really tend to be rewarding. They provoke the audience to do something, to think, to laugh, to cry, to react somehow, even get angry, or to get up and do something, buy something, act somehow. This was another of the most significant campaigns. I know we have the team from Nike here in the room, but the Write the Future campaign that Nike did, attended to World Cup last year, was brilliant. It was specifically brilliant because they were not a FIFA official sponsor, and yet they completely dominated I'd say, the creative and commercial airways during World Cup. So this was Alejandro Iñárritu, the famed Mexican filmmaker, creating this incredible video, which I'm sure most of you must have seen, because I am here in Brazil, of course, and I'm sure you're paying quick attention. But the notion was to capture a moment of time that was really highlighted by a kick, a strike, or a block, and imagine what would happen. It had, the production values were amazing. I think it was shot in 6 countries over 60 days. The editing was intensely professional. And I think what this taught us all was that, again, content, advertising, when it's interesting, compelling, can be valuable, shareable, and visible content. I won't go through the whole thing because it is a bit long. I think it's well north of 3 minutes. But in its first week, it had 7.8 million views on YouTube, 21 million views since May, launched simultaneously in 14 countries on YouTube and on Facebook, and really tapped into the passion of the World Cup and the audience participation to trump what was a typical FIFA sponsorship and do it Nike's own way. So we also believe that successful campaigns give the audience an opportunity to validate their feelings and share common experiences and believe again. I'm going to show you something from Toyota. Oh no, this is good. This just launched actually last week. This is the HP U store, which is a brand new initiative that launched last week. It's the first time, and this was really an idea incubated here with our partners, HP agency, and our team here at Google in Brazil, to create a commerce site on a brand channel on YouTube. And it features, I think this should play.
Se alguém te oferecer outra linha de computadores que não seja HP, não seja indelicado. Responda apenas, olha, eu adoraria, mas não quero.
So this guy appears throughout a number of videos explaining various products to the consuming audience, and already we have seen there have been sales off of this. This is a very interesting breakthrough for YouTube and our partners, and we'll be watching very, very closely to see how we kind of grow this this way of doing business on YouTube. It's a completely new format. We also saw a very large problem for Toyota in the United States last year. They had a number of serious auto recalls, more than 2 million units, and it was quite a scandal within the corporation. And they had this new product launching, a minivan, a Sienna minivan, which is not a cool car for most people to drive. It's a family vehicle. And this was a 3-minute video that is quite humorous and fun to watch that they launched in the midst of this very hot and disputed PR nightmare they were living through. If we could have a little volume so folks could hear this.
Yeah, this one goes out to all you minivan families out there. Sienna SE in the house.
Where
my mother, father's at?
Where my kids at? Where my kids at? Where my kids at? Where my kids at? Where my kids at? Where my kids at? No, seriously, honey, where are the kids?
They're right there, see?
Oh, cool beans. I roll hard through the streets and the cul-de-sacs. Proud parent of an honor roll student, Jack. I got a swing in the front, a tree house in the back. My #1 dad mug says, yeah, I'm the Mac.
I'm the world's best nurse when my kids get sick. I make a mean gel mold, I perfected my tricks. Back when I used to party as a college chick. Now I'm cruising to their play dates, looking all slick.
In my swagger wagon, yeah, the swagger wagon. It's the swagger wagon. I got the pride in my ride, in my swagger wagon.
So what Toyota did was quite surprising. They used a rap video, effectively, a rap video format to introduce the features of this family car to video viewing audiences on YouTube. It was a crazy success, and on their brand channel, different members of the YouTube community started posting their own videos. So we're seeing this kind of mimicry, including this one, which Toyota actually allowed to be played even though it depicts a family and their Ford SUV. So their swagger wagon from some family in the Midwest of the United States.
Yeah, my kids at? Where my kids at? Or where my kids
So these
at?
are just
Or where
people
my
with a little
kids
too
at?
much time on their hands standing in front of their Ford, and this is now embedded as a form of flattery on the Sienna Toyota brand channel on YouTube. What happened was, in the wake of this nightmare of bad PR, this campaign broke through. 8.4 million video views since last February. But what happened was the creative was laced throughout its brand channel on Facebook and on YouTube, and they really exploited, the content in a way that it was a 3-minute video. You can't really afford to buy, nor would you get the audience attention on television to watch a 3-minute video. But everyone watched this through to the end. The metrics were incredible, and it became CNN's viral video of the week, even though it was a paid commercial. So we also believe that creating something that enhances life helps make campaigns successful. Something that's memorable, delights, inspires, surprises, something that makes a person want to own it, share it with others. And we actually, I don't know if you've seen this, Tipex. It's a white out product. It's a correction tape that allows you to eliminate errors. It's a low consideration product. Very few people would even pay attention to an ad in a print vehicle. It couldn't afford to do a larger television campaign, and so they came up with this very innovative means for engaging the community. They invite someone to shoot a bear, or he whites out shoots and allows the YouTube community to type in what he wants, what they want to see happen to the bear. You want to play with the bear, you want to dance with the bear, you want to love the bear, you want to feed the bear. And so it created an enormous amount of interactions. So here we see there was a view of him eating a bear. But what it allowed was 35 million interactions since August with a very low consideration product. And it made Tipex somewhat more familiar to those of us who would otherwise not consider it. And it really just, it used this technology within YouTube called annotations, which allows people to interact with and control the response of the video to the words they're actually entering. So we also believe that successful campaigns extend the experience using video live streaming and doing it very successfully. It's something that we really began doing last year with music concerts that allows more and more people to engage in a live event. So for example, the Harry Potter world premiere of their last film in London attracts 60,000 fans, but it enabled millions of fans on YouTube to participate, to make comments, to be part of a community around a live event. We did it successfully with Carnival from Salvador just 2-3 weeks ago. So it's a very, it's a high act game because streaming live video in an effective way is a newer art form, but we are having tremendous success with this. And this year we'll do more than 300 live streamed events on YouTube alone. So this went, there were 637,000 simultaneous live streams, 8 minutes of average viewing time, and it allowed people in 18 countries and 8 languages to participate live in this event. We did this also very effectively during World Cup, and a number of you were involved with Palpita Brazil last year. You can see Volkswagen, Vivo, Sony, and Seoul were our sponsors, and it really was a joint venture with a content partner, ESPN, where there were daily live feeds of videos that ESPN provided, and it allowed for individuals who were participating at at World Cup or otherwise, just engaging with content to post their own videos. So it created a platform for engagement. And this one particular video shows the first baby, I believe, born during World Cup season. So it was a range of experiences
O sol
that
surge
people
por
had.
trás do Soccer City. Começa o último dia da Copa do Mundo. O primeiro na vida de Inclâmulo. Às 6 horas da manhã, do dia 11 de julho de 2010, a garotinha deixou esta
So
família
there's
mais
the
alegre.
first World Cup baby. Amen.
A mãe Nomsa diz que
The impact and the engagement was considerable, almost 10 million cumulative views, 7.4 million unique users, and 1.7 million views on the Palpita YouTube channel. So a very successful program. And what we're seeing is more and more the technology tools of Google that Google offers are wide-ranging. More and more campaigns are beginning to successfully exploit this kind of technology. For example, Netflix, which is a large movie rental, online movie rental, and both live streaming and delivered to your home movies, it's showing, using a Google map here, where and what kind of films are being watched in what neighborhoods. So what effectively can happen is any company can have an interaction with Google's map technology using an API to map any kind of transaction. There are shoe companies that map what shoes are being sold in what states in the United States. Nike has done various uses of Google Maps to overlay cities with running trails and running clubs. So there are endless ways of using a platform like Google Maps as a creative platform to interpret for whatever means you would like, and just to integrate it into your own sites or your own ad campaigns. I think Kareem showed us some very cool technology using Google Voice. There are two videos I want to show you here. Google itself is a quirky kind of advertiser, and we are inviting users of our technology to post their videos on YouTube in something called a demo slam and show the world how to use some of this technology. One is Google Goggles, which allows you to take an image using your mobile device of anything. It can be a brand logo, it can be a monument, it can be a photo of an ad that's running in a newspaper, and you can link the physical world with a virtual search result. So here's a little fun using Google Goggles that a bunch of clever guys came up with. I don't know who these guys are. They are not
With
Google
Google
employees.
Goggles, you can search with pictures. So today, what we're going to try to do is recreate Mount Rushmore and see if Google Goggles recognizes it. First piece, we're going to make his hair around, right?
I'm just going to add a few strips to your head.
So Mount Rushmore is a well-known monument in the mountains in Colorado, I believe, where there are 4 presidents carved into the mountainside. So these guys are just trying to see if they can produce the accurate result.
All right.
So their first attempt fails. They fix up their little paper mache mountain here.
Presidential.
And there you have it. It's a mobile search result that's interpreting what's clearly a facsimile of the actual Mount Rushmore, but giving an appropriate result. Here's another demo slam. Google Goggles. This is a way that this downloadable image recognition has been used successfully in print advertising, where it allows a user to take a photo of that particular ad and launch a result that gives you the ability to have a 360-degree tour of the car, find a local dealer that has that specific model in store, and arrange for a test drive. There's another, the Google voice search that you heard earlier from Kareem. This is a group of boys who are figuring out how to do it.
Chubby Bunny into the speaker like this. Chubby Bunny. Then it
So
would
they're
say
playing a
working
game
here.
effectively in
If
their
it says
kitchen.
that, then they get the point. It doesn't? No. Okay.
Which one will go first?
All right. Let's start off with 2.
Chubby Bunny.
Okay, It's working, it's working. Yeah, that's
Great.
That sounded good.
Okay.
Come on, TJ. Chubby, morning. It's working, it's working.
Oh! 4.
It's working.
Do you think he's gonna get that? I think he's gonna get that.
Working.
It's up to you, TJ. 4.
So this little guy has to put as many in as the older brother, so he has 4. All right, so he's the loser. So the boy in the red shirt wins the demo slam. And if you're curious, you can go to YouTube and type in demo slam, and you'll see any number of individuals who have posted their own stories on how to use Google products. You can also, by the way, voice search is available in Portuguese, so all you have to do is, if you're an Android user, go into the Android store, download Google Voice Search, and you'll have an incredible range of capability. One way that this kind of capability can be deployed, you could actually map, for example, places, cities in which Coke is being consumed globally. There's all sorts of ways to take data visualization and incorporate it into your ad campaigns. So what we do believe is, we're often asked what makes a viral campaign, what makes something really stick. Usually and consistently, they're rewarding. Instead of just buying time from a media vendor, you are creating time for your consumers to interact with your brand in new and meaningful ways, and you're getting information back from those users. They don't have to be perfect. They are authentic. They're real. The Old Spice campaign was fairly low production value given the range and impact it had. Successful campaigns are relevant, aligning with consumer passion. So you can see that from the various engagements and retweets and comments. They're real time. They let you own them, riff on them, share them. Your most successful campaigns are not hung up about total control over the interactions. On YouTube, any brand can have curation of their brand channel, but many of them, I think the Toyota example of allowing the Ford truck to be in their ad was actually very instructive and a smart thing to do. Successful campaigns exploit multiple platforms, mobile, TV, the internet, video. They are surprising, clever, rich, and creative, and the best of them entertain, inform, or provide some kind of utility. The last thing I just want to say is there's a lot of complexity involved with having your brand assets available across the web at large. And a lot of what we do at Google is try to eliminate that complexity and make the hassle of buying across multiple media vendors easier. One way we can do this on a video platform is through there's a tool that we partner with, a company we partner with, that allows you to orchestrate the existence of your brand across multiple platforms and around the world. So really what we're looking at is the ability to distribute these engagement channels across YouTube, Orkut, Facebook, MySpace, your own sites. And the company we work with this moment has agreed to begin working with us in Brazil, which is quite exciting, because what you really need to start with is your own promotional message. And this media would be, for example, a YouTube masthead. But from there, you launch to your own branded experience on YouTube. But that's probably not enough for many of the brands in this room. You'll want to be on Orkut. You'll want to be able to have live stream video if you choose, or social connections, live chat, any kind of map widgets, some kind of commerce tool. So all of that is possible inside of a brand channel. But what we allow using this technology is to have one brand presence managed in one place, living on many sites, with controls and reporting back to you as the brand owner or the agency on behalf of the brand, so that you have a consistent read of the performance of this campaign across many sites. So here's simply a visualization of how that can live on the broader web. And we have had tremendous success with this in the United States. It makes the workload and the execution hassles much lower for the agency teams who are working with various media partners. And we see this as pretty much an operating system for brands that are really important tools to allow you to have a global message seamlessly integrated with local content. And local could mean different content in Rio from Sao Paulo, or local could mean, you know, a message specific to Spanish-speaking Latin America. So, in summary, I think we do see 5 big advertising opportunities in this Web 3.0. You've heard them all today. Search is just core. It's a core consumer behavior on the web. It provides relevant information. It's always on, and pretty much now it's always in your pocket. Video has become a democratization of sight, sound, and motion. It's no longer the province of only TV proprietors, but rather individuals, consumers, citizen journalists have the tools of production in their pocket, again, their mobile device, and are using them. In engaging with consumers on a social basis, you're not just buying time, you're creating more time for your brand. Fourth is the mobile, the most portable, intimate, what we call answer machine you could ever want. And last is this transmedia experience, that the brand experience today lives on multiple media, and all of us are actually both challenged and privileged to be able to work with brands across multiple media. So with that, I think I sign off, and thank you for your attention, and introduce my colleague, Flavia Simon, who's going to speak for a bit.